Hello everybody and welcome back to Epic Street. My name is Akash and today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and discuss what's happening with the market, right? And try to find potential points, potential levels where Bitcoin could form some sort of a base or where it could bottom, right? So before we actually get into what's happening, things you should consider and that kind of stuff, please make sure to head on over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. And if you want to stay updated to the hottest trends in the crypto market, please make sure to also click on this bell icon. You can also give us a follow on Twitter at FXSCrypto, and if you enjoy the content that I put out, either on my Twitter at Mangek with the 0 at the end or on my YouTube channel here. Either way, right, make sure to give me a follow. I talk about everything on a regular basis on my YouTube channel, right? If you want to know more about what's causing the crash, or at least what triggered the crash, make sure to check this video out, present in my YouTube channel. So let's take a look at Bitcoin, right? Let me discuss a couple of things, right? The first thing is a couple of weeks ago, I wrote an article talking about the void. The void is basically this area extending from 12K to 29.4K. The reason why this void is pretty important is because there is literally insignificant volume traded between these price levels when Bitcoin rallied from roughly 12K to 29.5K. Because of this exponential move, the price is reversing back. The price is reverting now. Kind of reverting to the mean, if you will, right? And as you can see here, it is approaching the weekly 200 moving average, which is currently present at $22,391. Right, so before I get into the importance of 200 weekly moving average, let's take a look at the volume profile. And as you can see here, the volume profile, there's a few peaks and troughs, right? The peaks are known as high volume nodes and the troughs are known as low volume nodes. And as you can see here, there is, like I mentioned, insignificant amount of volume present between this level. And even in this level, if you pay close attention, there are a few peaks and troughs. So let me just I've marked out the peaks over here, which is the first level is present at 23,480. The second and the most important level is at 19.2K. The third one at 15.5 and the fourth one at 13.5. Ultimately, we have the lower limit of the void at 11.9K. Right, so these are the levels that I think Bitcoin price is going to pause, or at least there's going to be some sort of absorption in the form of buyers coming in at these levels. And as you can see here, the price is already nearing the first level, so we will just have to wait and watch, right? Let's talk about the 200 weekly moving average. In the stock market, the 200 weekly moving average is pretty important because it signifies the presidential cycle, and it also marks the top or the bottom of a bull rally. So that kind of translate into the crypto markets as well. And if you take a look at it, right, the 200 weekly moving average, the 2018 were kind of bottomed around the 200 weekly moving average, and during the COVID crash, the price kind of stabilized around the 200 weekly moving average, although the price did dig a lot deeper. Like it was a 30%, the price went 30% below the 200 weekly moving average. Now that we're approaching the same level here again, there's going to be a substantial amount of buying that takes place here, the 200 weekly moving average. So I am expecting some sort of buying pressure kind of step in and at least cauterize the bleed, if not completely stop it. Right, so that is the significance of 200 weekly moving average. That said, the levels are pretty much marked out here. Like it's clear, right? The most significant level here, which is the 19K or 19.2K dollars, is pretty important, right? Because there's multiple confluences occurring at this level. First, the VPVR. The second, we have the bear flag targets, which is kind of present around 18K, right? And then we have the 200 weekly moving average around the same level, right? It's plus or minus $2,000 basically. So, and another thing is, if you look at this fractal formation for Bitcoin, right? So there was a bear flag, which is the bigger bear flag, which is marked in the green, and then you have the smaller bear flag that is formed inside the breakout of the second bear flag, the first bear flag, right? So basically that one has also breached, and now the price is tanking quite quickly. So both of these bear flags kind of predict 20,000 plus or minus $500, right? So overall, $20,000 plus or minus $2,000 is basically the target, which I'm gonna mark here, right? So basically I have 22,000 and then I have 18,000. This is going to be the buy zone that I will be looking at. Right, so this is where I will be buying, and just to be sure, right, this level is pretty important, and this is where I'm going to be, like, when Bitcoin hits this green box, I'm going to start accumulating altcoins as well. So yeah, that is pretty much it from a macro perspective on what's going on with Bitcoin. So let's quickly take a look at the CME gaps that I've marked here on my scalping chart that I usually do. Okay, this is pretty weird. Okay, yeah, there we have it. Right, so if you take a look at this particular range here, which was this range extends from 25.3K to $31,000 basically. Uh, we have swept the range high and now we're sweeping the range low, and in the sweep of the range low that we have here, Bitcoin price has already filled the CME gap that was formed here. If you read my articles or watched videos on my personal YouTube channel, this level was partially filled on the May 12 crash, but the price kind of recovered prematurely and then went up, right? So the correction that we've seen right now is basically a continuation of what happened on May 12th, right? So that gap is marked here between extending from 23.8K to 24.8K. Now that this level's been filled, I see no reason for the price to continue going lower. So now this would be a good place to open long positions, if you will. If you are familiar with the futures market, I think opening a long position now, pilot long position with a tight stop loss, would be a pretty interesting way to go about it, right? So that said, there are other CME gaps here that's worth mentioning. This one I'm gonna talk about it first because it extends from 18.4K to 19,000 basically, and that falls again inside this range that we marked here, extending from 18,000 to $22,000, right? So another confluence why 20K is a pretty significant level, right? So let's take a look at this gap present above here, which extends from 27.3K to 28.9K. Now this gap is what I expect. This gap was formed very recently, the last weekend when price crashed. And the other one here extending from 34.4K to 35.1K. These levels, this is what I was expecting Bitcoin price to head after a sweep of this range high here, but alas, we didn't get the relief rally that we all expected. So yeah, that is pretty much it for today's analysis on Bitcoin CME gaps, macro perspective, and how to trade Bitcoin if you are looking to. Right, either way, like if I were to sum it up in a single sentence, I think 22,000 to 18,000 is an important level for Bitcoin because of the multiple confluence that occurs there. So keeping an eye on that particular area would serve well for a lot of investors, right? That said, I do have to provide warning or invalidation levels, right? Considering how volatile the market is right now, there's a good chance this crash could extend further. The only reason why it could go down is because of the FOMC meeting that is going to happen on 14th and 15th of June. Now, the Fed is expected to raise the rates by 50 basis points, which would be a massive hike considering what we've gone through over the past few months, which has just been 25 basis points, right? So now that is another reason why price could continue falling lower, in which case you would probably see the CME gap here extended from 18.4K to 19.1K get filled pretty soon, that would put Bitcoin into the green zone that we just talked about. So that is one scenario that you guys have to keep in mind. And in an extremely bearish case scenario, you could see Bitcoin crash down to $12,000. So yeah, that concludes my analysis for Bitcoin. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.